If you've been following along, you know that we recently went from San Diego up to Twin Falls, Idaho, and then from Idaho all the way over to Niagara Falls in New York. And we saw some amazing sights along the way. This trip put us on the opposite side of the country, so we thought we'd make the most of it by spending some time with old friends who happen to live in the area. This brings us to the title of this video, moochdocking. Let's stop for a second and talk about some definitions. All right, first we have regular old camping. That is when you go to a designated camp spot, you use whatever amenities they have, whether they have public restrooms or running water nearby or like electric or water at the site. All of those would be just standard camping. And then there's dry camping. So that would be going to a campsite that may have some amenities like a pit, like a fire pit, but no running water, anything like that. You need to be totally contained. So that would be dry camping. Then there's boondocking. So boondocking is going out maybe into BLM land, into public land, or any other place where there's zero amenities, zero designated campsite, and making your own camp and being completely self-contained. So that would be boondocking. Then there's stealth camping, which is basically boondocking, but doing it sneaky-like. So that would be if you are somewhere in a public place, in a street, where you may or may not be allowed to be there, and you want to close everything up to make sure that people don't know that you're there. We haven't really had any experience doing that, except for there have been a couple of harvest hosts when we were in busy parking lots where people were coming out of bars, and we didn't want to be too obvious. So we have been stealthy at times, but I don't know that we would actually call that stealth camping. And so then last but not least is when you rely on your wonderful friends and their space that they have available to you, and you pull either into their driveway or out in front. Maybe you plug into their power. Maybe you use some of their water. Whatever it is, whether you're using their amenities or not, we like to call that moochdocking. Now, I have seen enough comments on videos arguing these kinds of points to know that there's people who are going to disagree with my definitions. By all means, correct me. This is how we define it and how we explain it whenever we're talking about what we're doing. So, on this trip, we took a little bit of time to do some moochdocking with friends. While our plans were pretty fluid on this trip, since we'd made reservations for a campsite near Niagara Falls, we did have some idea as to when we wanted to visit. Great news, not only did both homes have enough space for Boxy to stay a few days, but because we were able to give some notice, they were happy enough to see us that they took some time off work to spend time with us, which was just so cool. In fact, that's our first tip for moochdocking. Try to give enough lead time for your friends to make time for you. It was so worth it being able to spend time with them rather than just using their driveways. But let's get back to our trip. So here we are driving through Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. As usual, Abby was very much on the lookout for squirrels and dogs. Oh, and this isn't the best shot of it, but if you look close, you can see the geese crossing the road. They stopped traffic. So many geese. And bridges, so many bridges. I'm pretty sure this is the Walnut Street Bridge. Right next to it is the Market Street Bridge, which is this stone arch bridge that was created between 1814 and 1820. I guess it was originally called the Camelback Bridge, and it's still in use. There's also this other bridge, which is an unused railroad bridge. They're so cool looking, and they give downtown Harrisburg such a distinctive look. Our first visit would be with our DC area friends. And the first thing we did was go on a little nature walk, which is tip number 2. Encourage going on walks. I know that sort of comes with the territory when you have a dog, but I'm going to recommend it even if you don't travel with a dog. Walking with our friends was such a good opportunity to stretch our legs, to see some of our friends' favorite places, and to take them out of their routines and catch up in a pleasing setting. They had some really great spots to check out. Abby was especially interested in checking out this stick. She did not succeed in picking it up, I'm afraid. Ooh, check out these cool mushrooms. And these mushrooms. And this deer. Do you see the deer? I think he doesn't think we can see him, but we can see him. Or her. Anyway, there she is. While most of our visit was with the whole family, we did have one grown-up excursion when we left Abby and the kiddos at the house with their grandma. A quick trip to this pretty little town, Ellicott City. Look at this adorable little restaurant. This is Georgia Grace Cafe. We stopped in for some lunch and a nice visit. It was so cute inside and everything was really tasty. Here's Dick posing with Robert the Eggplant, an art piece called Aubergine. I guess there was a larger one that was destroyed in a flood and this one replaced it. What's the first thing you think of when you think of Maryland? For me, it's now Old Bay. It wasn't, but now it is. Check out all the swag. We stopped at a gift shop and saw this huge collection of little cherubs called Sunny Angels. I think Dick filmed them because they're kind of creepy. By the time this video comes out, Labubu is really huge right now, but last year it was all about Sunny Angel. So yeah, now I'm a fan of Ellicott City. I could see why our friends wanted to bring us there. So cute. Later that evening, there was a thunderstorm and Abby was really shook up, so we brought her inside. Okay, now let's take a break for happy hour. Not only were our friends excellent hosts, but this one happens to be super into making fancy cocktails. And oh my gosh, they were so delicious. Yummy. And here's a typical morning in the van. There's Abby looking for critters outside, and all of us enjoying a beautiful sunrise. Of course, that didn't last long, and she went back to bed. Next, we went to visit the National Arboretum.
Oh my God!
Abby! Abby! That brings us to the next tip: be open to doing unexpected things. We didn't plan to visit the Arboretum when we came to the DC area, and yet it was a really cool stop. Do you like bonsai trees? 'Cause I got a bunch of photos and footage of bonsai trees. Here it is. Here's a landmark I didn't know anything about until now. These are National Capitol columns. They were part of the Capitol building in 1828, but then they were removed pretty shortly after in 1868 because of an oversight. Apparently, this is when they built a new dome that was so large it gave the illusion that the columns couldn't support it, so they were replaced and stored. It wasn't until the 1980s that they were installed here. Did you know that we have a national herb garden? Because I didn't know that we have a national herb garden. Now I do. We're on Pennsylvania Avenue. But all Abby knows is that this road has dogs and squirrels. She doesn't seem to care about the Capitol building. It's the dogs and squirrels. We didn't want to deal with all the crowds and the parking at the National Mall, especially having Abby with us, so we skipped that this time. But we were able to visit one of my favorite DC landmarks, the Jefferson Memorial. Of course, we had to stop and admire the iconic view of the Washington Monument. Abby didn't seem that impressed. Are you coming? Are you coming?
It's too slippery.
It's slippery. And that pretty much wrapped up the footage of our DC visit with friends. Moving on, we ended up heading down to Virginia to visit another friend in her beautiful home that she and her husband just built. And look, plenty of room for Boxy. It was one of my favorite parts of this visit to sit with her and have coffee on the porch while we looked out at the sunrise. That brings me to tip number 4. Be open with your schedule. It wasn't part of our typical van life schedule for me to get up before the sun came up, and it certainly wasn't part of van life schedule for us to stay late and have cocktails with our friends after the kiddos went to bed. And yet, those are some of our best memories. Good morning from Virginia. We're heading to Shenandoah because that's the nearest dump station, so we're going to go ahead and blend it in with a little bit of sightseeing. What do you think, Abby? I'm looking for squirrels and bunnies. Almost at Skyline Drive in Shenandoah National Park. That's our next tip. Do your logistics research. We knew ahead of time that Shenandoah was going to be a great place to dump our tanks, so we made a day of it when our friends were busy. So we are up here. I think this might be the Shenandoah Valley overlook. It's one of the overlooks.
Yeah, it's at the river.
Dick just saw a deer. I missed it. Always looking at maps and missing the world. We just dumped the tank and now there's deer right here that hopefully the dog doesn't notice. There's 2 on the left and 1 on the right at least. Oh, pretty. The baby. Hi, family. Beautiful. Oh, it's so cool. Keep going. Here they are. A little meadow. Pretty. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Here we go. This looks like a nice enough place to stop for lunch. Dumpling snack in Shenandoah. Mm-hmm. Why not? Get up there. Yeah, adventure dog. Ooh, I have an idea. Abby, ready? No, 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 no. Get back.
Come here.
No, no.
Come here. Right here. Sit. Go ahead and sit. Right there.
Sit. Sit. Good girl. Let's do it again. Sit. Ready? Oh. Ready? Yay! Good catch. Let's do. I got 2 more pieces for her.
Sit.
Sit. Sit. Good girl. One more. Ready? Sit. What a good girl. Yay! She's so good. 100%.
Good girl. She's so cute.
As we head back from Shenandoah, I'll take this opportunity to talk about another tip that I didn't really get footage of for privacy reasons, and that is chip in. Whether you want to do it financially, whether you're going to make a meal, the bottom line is that at the end of the trip, you want your friends to be sad to see you go, not to be happy to be rid of the burden. Oh look, we went on another walk. I'll have you know, I don't eat beef. Can't say it enough for the same for the people behind me, but
Hello, Mama. Hello, Mama. Moo
beautiful mama.
Hello. No.
Next tip, schedule some maintenance if you need it. Your friends can entertain you while your vehicle's being worked on. On our last night here, my friend came out with us on one of our photo excursions.
To make it more interesting. I had to do something.
You gotta get closer.
Maybe. It's so, the light is so perfect.
It's beautiful.
It's just in the frame. I can see like, oh, okay, great, a well-lit building.
In case you're wondering, this is an old wool mill that the neighbors gave us permission to photograph. And that wraps up our moochdocking video, except for just one more shot. Here it is. Thank you so much for watching to the end. We hope you join us next time when we explore the East Coast even more. We stayed at some great campgrounds and some super unique harvest hosts along the way, and we had a fantastic time. This is going to be a fun one.